Star Trek Online is a free-to-play MMORPG released in 2010. The game since its release has never been one of the most populated, but is totally welcoming to newcomers, both fans of the franchise or the ones interested in a sci-fi game. Today, with zero knowledge about the franchise and the lore behind it, I will explore this game for the very first time. Enjoy! As every MMORPG, we are tasked with creating our character. I must say that despite the age of the game, the character creation is really something, and it does remind me of the one from City of Heroes. You can create a stunning looking character or a true monster. You have sliders that lets you modify many things like stomach. You also have to choose your class, defined as career. To make it easier for you, they are engineering, the tank, science, the healer, and tactical, the damage dealer, and also the one that I've picked. Once spawned, I've noticed that the game runs pretty smoothly, but the UI definitely looks outdated. A good overhaul is definitely needed. But I'm pleased to see that all the NPCs or quest givers are voice acted. Sadly, there is no mouth movement, which instantly killed my excitement. Despite this, I pushed forward in the tutorial and retrieved my first weapon, a phaser pistol. This is where things got interesting. I was expecting a tab targeting combat, but instead it has a unique system. I will define it a mix between action and tab targeting. You literally have to aim at your enemies, making it a sort of third-person shooter. Further into the tutorial, I've found a shuttle that I have to use in order to reach the surface of the planet. But let's say that it looks more of an ice cream cart than a space shuttle. Once landed, I must say that the animations are sometimes acceptable, but in other scenarios, like sprinting, are plain bad. After finding a shipwreck and some survivors, I finally tried out the combat. I probably had higher expectation, but it doesn't feel impactful or anything. It still remains engaging thanks to the aim mode and some enemy skills that you need to avoid, but that's not really exciting. Once I've managed to save the survivors and take them back to the ship, more enemies swarmed in here, but I've easily managed to clear the place. Then things took a turn. The game also has space combat. Getting used to the controls can definitely make it feel more clunky than it already is, but it's like playing a different game. It reminded me a lot of EVE Online, but definitely without the depth of it. But it's cool to see ground combat and space combat. They can definitely help mixing things up. I must say that space combat has more depth compared to the ground combat. Having directional shields both on yourself and your enemies make the ship placement important in order to get past the shields and destroy your enemies. I think that it's way better than ground combat. Once I've destroyed all the ships in the area, I went back to the Earth space dock in order to start my journey. Again, I'm pleased to hear some voice acting instead of reading big walls of text, but the missing mouth animations really killed the mission. It's really a shame. Having gained my first levels, I've picked into the traits and skills. Traits are passive abilities that you can equip in order to obtain specific bonuses, like increased damage with specific type of weapons or damage reduction to certain elements. In the skills panel, we have space points for increasing the ship statistics and ground points for the on-foot missions. Traveling back to space, the map looks really huge, even though traveling from one point to another is pretty slow. Thanks to Elena, a dear friend that plays the game, assured me that traveling speed is definitely affected by the ship we're using, which means that further into the game, the time needed will be definitely less thanks to the better ships we'll be using. Once arrived to our destination, I can't deny that the game already started to feel repetitive. Go from point A to B, kill this, take that, go back to space, destroy more ships, and done. Move towards another system. Also, the ground combat is pretty much locked behind instanced areas and there's no open world or bigger maps to explore. It's a shame because the game truly delivers a unique experience, but I can't deny that it's done in a very poor way. After completing a good chunk of missions, I've also peeked into the game store. It seems that you can safely enjoy the game since it really doesn't have a sort of endgame, so you won't need to be that competitive like other MMORPGs. Even if the best ships of the game are locked behind a paywall, you will be able to enjoy and complete it without the need of buying something, having a specific build or the best DPS in the game. Summarizing everything, Star Trek Online lands a 6 out of 10. I definitely love the mix between space and ground combat and the character creation. There is no way you won't be able to create a fine looking one or a true monster. For the Star Trek fans, it can definitely feel the carving for a game of the franchise, meeting some some famous character from the movies that also voice acted in this MMORPG. Despite the good ideas behind the ground combat, it is so clunky and feels ages behind the space combat. I won't define the game as pay to win, but if you really want the best things in the game, you will have to pay for those. And this was another first impression video of another MMORPG. If you want to see more games reviewed like this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe and comment the video with what do you want to see, and if you want to join in and review it with me. See you soon.